Hi guys, good afternoon. Welcome back to this same class that we were supposed to have yesterday. Nice to see you all. I hope you guys are having a good Sunday. So here we go. Today we have a lot of classes which are lined up. We already had one plus class, and now we will be starting with our special classes. So this class will be till 5:30. After that, I'll meet you all at 6 o'clock for a quiz session for a flashcard revision of anything and everything that I have talked about in the last few days. So that'll be interesting. So it most likely won't be a 3 hour class. Let's see how long we want it, and then we'll modify it accordingly. And then in the night, I have one class for the Fmge graduates where we'll be starting with our image based revision. And there's also in between one class which is going to be on YouTube. So let's see. I have no clue where to fit that in, but we will try. Hi, user and Cadbury till 8. Yeah, most likely. Okay, so somebody is messaging me about some class. All right, so let's let's see what happens towards the end of the day. YouTube I will let you know, guys. I am also not sure when to do it. There is just not enough hours in the day to put it in, but I will have to sort it here and there and do something. Let you know. Anyway, so let's begin with this first. And this is not superwoman. This is like the ill effects of being a procrastinator, and this is what happens when you do that. When you dump everything on last day, then this is the kind of 31st January you will have. Okay, so let's begin, guys, with thyroid. So yesterday we had I don't know how many of you were there in yesterday's class, but I have put that portion towards the end in case you did hear me out. So we will start. Just listening is enough, Mubashira, for now, but it will depend on you. If you want to make notes, you can. Otherwise, if my handwriting seems fine to you, then you can just download the PDF also. That also, whatever works for you, basically. Okay, right. So let's begin. I would rather have you. Uh, I would rather have you. Focus and comment, and then basically just download the PDF, so that you once you start commenting and start writing, that way your mind works more better. You have that sense of this thing, that liability, that I need to answer correctly. So that is what I would prefer, that now that you're attending a live class, might as well interact, right? And that is what did not work out yesterday, and today it is. So happy to see that. Fine. So I guess Alok, Telegram link I will give you at the end, okay? Towards the end of the class I'll send. चलो फिर शुरू करते हैं with in plus classes. I teach full syllabus, of course, so there will be complete radiology coverage. Apart from that, we are learning a few other things also these days. We just had finished a class on recipe system. All right, so this is the code ZVORA. If you want to subscribe to plus class, Rakesh, this is your answer here. Just go to the link and use this code. You'll get a 10% off, and then you can enroll into any batch that you want. All right, so there are a lot of batches going on. Everything becomes open like Netflix. Then it's up to you what you want to see. All right, chalo fir shuru karte hain with thyroid, with the very first question. So we will be beginning with our main approach that is asked from thyroid, which is approach to somebody who comes to you like this. This is the patient who's coming to the surgeon saying that I've been having this swelling on my neck since a long time. What should I do about it? So what will you tell this person, first of all, that what this person has? So whenever you feel that there is a single nodule which is there in the thyroid and rest of the thyroid is not being felt, first of all, you would obviously do an examination, right? So we know that we have done the examination. There are various tests which are there. So after establishing and doing all of these tests, you realized that this indeed is in the thyroid. It is moving with deglutition, and what you noticed was the rest of the thyroid is fine. So what can I call it? Can I call it that it is a solitary thyroid nodule, or I cannot be sure that it is a solitary thyroid nodule or a dominant thyroid nodule? So my question to you is, what is the difference between the two? What is a solitary thyroid nodule? What is a dominant thyroid nodule? Autonomous is a dominant thyroid nodule, is it? No, not really. This doesn't depend on function. This is clinical examination. Yes, very good. So as Akshay is telling us correctly here, in a solitary thyroid nodule, the rest of the gland is not palpable. There is a single nodule which is palpable. All right, so when you have the rest of the gland which is fine, that is a solitary thyroid nodule. But you have a lot of other glands also that is getting palpated, but one of that nodule is dominant, that is standing out, right? So this is your difference between solitary versus dominant thyroid nodule. Is this clear? So clinically it will depend on the palpation. So this is a clinical diagnosis, whether it's an STN or a DTN. All right, and that will depend whether you feel the rest of the gland or you don't feel the rest of the gland. So this is the nomenclature. Now let's just say for future reference that whatever we are talking about is a solitary thyroid nodule, and this is the main question that comes, that how will you approach these nodules, correct? Okay, so now in general, if I have to tell you why are we concerned about this nodule, right? We'll talk about thyroglossal cyst, don't worry, we'll come to that. We'll come to congenital anomalies towards the end. Right now just believe me that it is in the thyroid, it's not a thyroglossal duct cyst. Okay, so here when I tell you that we have an ST and that we are trying to approach, we have 80% of these nodules which are benign and then 50% are malignant. So basically our entire approach to this nodule will be to find out these 15% malignant out of the 80% benign. All right, so we, our aim with all this approach that we are going to be studying is to pick out, is to find out and diagnose these 15% malignant thyroid nodules. We don't really care about these will be very common. If we do one ultrasound for all of us, like so many of us, almost 30-40% of us will have these nodules which be incidentally detected and we don't know what to do with them. But the main aim will be to find out the suspicious features and get to this 15% malignant. So now starting with the approach, a few one-liners. So when I ask you what will be the first investigation that you'll order, will it be an ultrasound? Fine, that will be an ultrasound. But what else will you want to order that will determine your starting point? That will be a thyroid function test. Okay, because this serves as a very good starting point, because you have a different sort of approach when your result of this comes out to be what? When your result of this comes out to be a status which is hyperthyroidism or thyrotoxicosis, your approach kind of needs some tweaking. Okay, yes. On the other hand, if this is euthyroid or it is hypothyroid, then our approach kind of remains the same. All right, so a good starting point, remember, would be a thyroid function test. Is this making sense? But then there are two other kinds of questions. When I ask you what will be the radiological investigation of choice, what will be the other panel of tests that you are sending this patient, all of these STN patients for? Not technetium, Akshay, it'll be ultrasound. All right, so ultrasound will be the investigation of choice. Yes, I agree, technetium will be your answer in this particular subgroup. So if you're thinking on those lines, then you're correct. But overall, if they ask you this question, all right, yes Sam, towards the end of the class you can just ask me any non academic question. All right, okay. So abhi, radiological investigation of choice, ultrasound. Is this clear, everybody? Then when I ask you overall, if one option I had to choose, they are just asking a simple one liner, three words ka question hai, investigation of choice for STN. What will your diagnosis be? It will be FNAC. It will not be ultrasound, it will be a fine needle aspiration cytology. This can be ultrasound guided, this cannot be ultrasound guided, that doesn't really matter. But if you had to choose, if you were given both options, it's very logical. What will you choose? A guided FNAC or a blind FNAC where your needle can go anywhere from carotid to thyroid to trachea? Obviously a guided one, right? So basically if that is a choice, then you know the answer. Okay, otherwise remember, it's basically we need to take cells, we need to see what is going on with thyroid to determine these, to pick up these 15% malignant. Is this making sense? So now let's start, let's look at some images and then decide what our nodule is turning out to be. And basically once we are done with STN, we'll look at a few diffuse thyroid disease, then we'll talk about ectopic and thyroglossal duct cyst. Okay, so that is going to be the flow of this class. So now I'm giving you that I did the TFT like you told me to. This came. What should I do next? Yes. So what are we seeing? We are seeing that there is hyperthyroidism, right? There is hyperthyroidism. So now how do I figure out, is that nodule which is producing thyroid or there is a diffuse thyroid disease? What is going on? Why is this patient hyperthyroid? So do you agree that the next step should be a radio iodine scan? A radio iodine scan. Do you all agree with this? Now, how do I do this scan? Usually we can do it with a radio iodine, which is iodine 123. But this is not available in India. So we need one more option here, which is what? Which is a technetium 99M. What? Very good, Anisha. Technetium 99M per technate scan. correct? So this is what I want to do in these patients, and now depending on the image I get, depending on the image, I have to move forward. A lot of times in India also, what Akshay is saying is correct, that we also tend to use iodine 131, but this is usually not favored because one, this has a longer half life. Okay, what is the half life of iodine 131? What is the half life of iodine 131? I add it up, 1 plus 3 plus 1, and then I do 3 one more time, which is 8 days. So the patient will remain radioactive for 8 days. On the other hand, iodine 123, what is the T half? What is the T half? I take up 1 and 3. So it will be your 13 hours. So here it is still acceptable. यहाँ 8 दिन तक patient radiation फैलाता रहेगा, which is so much. And what about technetium? What is the T half of technetium? This is very, very well fitting for us. Correct. This is 6 hours. This is 6 hours. So these 3 half lives you need to know. So that is one reason why iodine 131 is not preferred. And the second reason being that this will be more carcinogenic. All right. This emits beta plus gamma rays. Although fine, I can use the gamma rays, I can ignore the beta rays, but then they are affecting the body. All right. So that is why we will not prefer this. As long as we have this, I would prefer this. But for a theoretical question, all are used except, then these are your 3 things which may be used. Or all right, does that answer your question? Shimon, you had asked one question in between regarding ultrasound. एक बार वो फिर से लिखना. Half life of FDG, why do you want to know that right now? But that is 110 minutes. Okay. Though technetium only releases gamma rays. Okay, only gamma rays is released by technetium and iodine 123. Okay, shall I move on from this? Is everybody happy? So now you get a lot of chunks of questions from these radio iodine scan images. Okay, so this is very, very important. So pay attention for the next 5 minutes or so. So here, this is what I am showing you is a normal uptake. You will have uptake in both the thyroid glands like that diffusely. Okay, now this is an anatomical variant. I had shown you this image. When the thyroid shows you a middle finger, what do? You don't do anything, you can't do anything, but this is a variant which is a pyramidal lobe, right? So this is a pyramidal lobe, which is an accessory lobe of the thyroid gland, which will be like this. This is not a thyroglossal duct cyst, this is just a variant. It is shaped like this. So this is an accessory thyroid lobe called the pyramidal lobe, which goes in the center like this. So again, this is also telling us about that same track. No, remember, while I was blocked out yesterday, I was telling that thyroid descends from the base of foramen, basically base of tongue, foramen cecum to niche. So this is just that tissue which is remaining in that tract. उसी का रास्ता it is basically indirectly showing us कि मैं यहीं से आया हूँ. Okay, so that is the pyramidal lobe in the center. All right, now coming to the abnormal things, these are your image based questions. Each one of them repeat question, very, very important. So here, when I have a nodule, again starting with a nodule approach, I have a nodule where rest of the thyroid is showing me in uptake, but this nodule is not showing. So correct, this is a cold nodule. One question from you: how many percentage of these turn out to be malignant? If I FNA 100 cold nodules, how many will turn out to be malignant? So yes, you guys are close, 16 to 20%. So 16 to 20%, if I FNA 100 patients, इनमें से 20 में मुझे malignancy मिल जाएगा in a cold nodule. On the other hand, what is this? When the nodule, rest of the gland is suppressed, but I am seeing that one nodule is taking all the radioiodine because it needs it, because it is producing. Cold nodule, Rakesh, means that the nodule which will not show uptake. Do you see this? कि बाकी सब black है, पर ये white रह गया because it is not showing any uptake. All right, it doesn't have accessory extra function. So yes, the next step here definitely, if they ask you, would be FNA, right? Because again, I want to pick out those malignant persons. On the other hand, here I am seeing that this nodule is taking preferentially all the radioiodine because it is producing a lot of thyroid. So can I say that this is a toxic nodule, or can I also use the term autonomous? So Ritvik, this is where autonomous word is used. Okay, that was dominant. So this is a toxic or autonomous nodule which is picking up the radioiodine preferentially and making a lot of thyroid, leading to thyrotoxicosis. So this basically gives our answer कि क्यों इसको thyrotoxicosis है. So if I ask you now, how many percentage, if I FNA 100 hot nodules, how many will I find malignancy? Very, very less, 1%. I will only find a malignancy in 1% of these patients. But does it make a difference? Do I anyways need to treat this patient? Do I anyways need to treat them because they are symptomatic, correct, they are anyways symptomatic, so I anyways have to remove this nodule, right? So here you anyways treat it, there is no basically indication of FNAC, you straight away go for removal of this nodule. One question that Forever Single is asking, that answer I want from you guys, what is the cause of toxic nodule? There is one mutation that you need to know from path correlation here, that is responsible for this over autonomous activation, that this thyroid nodule is standing up and saying that I will take care of you, you don't do anything. What is that activating mutation? Very good, Anisha. So this is your GNAS, this is your GNAS mutation, which is your activating subunit mutation, where the thyroid itself has been given that power, this nodule has been given the power ki tum autonomous ho, tum apna dekh lo. Okay, so this is your GNAS mutation, that is something that you should remember here. Okay, right. On the other hand, yes, all of these Ashu are causes of hyperthyroidism. Okay, that is our starting point. So हमने hyperthyroid से शुरू किया था, and now I am having these 4 pictures and we have to make a diagnosis. Okay, right. So here now my both the thyroid glands diffusely are taking up uptake, they're looking like angry thyroids. Do you agree? From the normalcy, how much increased uptake is there? So this is our Graves disease, correct? This is our Graves disease, not Hashimoto. Hashimoto will typically cause what? Hashimoto will typically cause a hypothyroidism, but agar hyper bhi kiya तो भी उसका picture अभी आएगा, it will never cause this. So Graves is the only one. Can I just say that Graves is nothing but a diffuse thyroid which is toxic, which is autonomous? Because what has happened in Graves? What are the antibodies that you find in Graves? They are your TSH activating antibodies, correct? So what have they done? Basically, again, they are only, these antibodies are giving power to each and every thyroid cell that aap banao jitna banana hai. So basically, can I just say that this is just one diffuse extension of this? That is why this is Graves. On the other hand, when I find that patient ko वैसे तो hyperthyroidism है, patient is thyrotoxic, but nothing is showing uptake. So this will have 3 causes, correct? What are the 3 causes here that I have to rule out? One, the most important one that you are not forgetting, baki do bhul bhi jao, but the most important is thyroiditis. So the one person who had asked about Hashimoto or dequervins or lymphocytic silent thyroiditis, everything will have this picture. All the thyroiditis have that initial transient thyrotoxic phase. If I do image them that time, I will see this. Second cause, as all of you are correctly saying, will be struma overi, where ectopic thyroid is getting produced, and that is why my rest of the thyroid says that chalo koi aur kar raha hai, let me rest. Okay, and the third one being a factitious intake. Again, thyroid is chill ki chalo aap bahar se le rahe ho, let me rest. So all of these 3 cases where thyroid has given up, थक गया है thyroid, like my हाल yesterday, I have given up, आपको जो करना है अब कर लो. All right, so this is the 3 cases where you are getting thyroid from somewhere or thyroid is inflamed. Okay, that is your low uptake. Is this clear, everybody? So these are your important pictures. इनमें से एक सवाल पक्का sure shot. Okay, so one slide giving you one guaranteed question, it is this slide. Okay. No, stroma ovary causing hyperthyroidism is not paraneoplastic syndrome. It is the thyroid only which is getting produced. That is a kind of molecular mimicry actually which happens. I don't want to go into it, but uska jo receptor hota hai basically, that is very similar to TSH receptor. So that is why you will have, and sometimes in struma ovary, in teratoma, you can have TSH production only, which is increased. Okay, so this is basically our radio iodine scan. Okay, so now we have done the one chunk which was thyrotoxic. Now we go to the next chunk, which is what? Which is our euthyroid and hypothyroid patients. So उनके लिए हमें क्या करना था? What did we have to do for them? For them, we start off with an ultrasound. What am I showing you here? If I ask you, what is this gland that I am showing you? What is this white color ka gland? What is this hyperechoic diffusely? See how smooth it is? Do you all agree that it is so smooth, hyperechoic gland? So this is our thyroid. This is a normal appearance of thyroid. Okay, on ultrasound. Now if I ask you here only, tell me, what is this black structure? What is black on ultrasound? Do I remember that? What is black on ultrasound? Is it vessels? Is it any sort of fluid? Any sort of fluid? Blood is a fluid. So can I say that these well defined, when I see 2 bilaterally symmetrical structures just behind the thyroid, I can think of a vessel, which will also have blood, which will also appear black. What is that vessel? Correct. This is your common carotid artery. Correct. This is your common carotid. ICA तो इतना नीचे नहीं बनेगा. We have common carotid, superior pole पे जाके it will divide, है ना? So this is your common carotid artery just behind the thyroid. If basically I don't apply too much pressure, I will also see IJV, but IJV being a vein का क्या property होता है? If I just keep some compression, no, बेचारे पिचक जाते हैं, they'll get compressed. Okay, so that is why basically you are not seeing the other vessel. Otherwise you can see two vessels also. तो डरना मत कि ये क्या हो गया. Okay, so this is common carotid, this is IJV. All right. On the other hand, basically not seen here, but if I see very, very carefully, I will have two tiny parathyroids also near the inferior pole. Okay, inferior pole के पास बहुत rarely you will see normal parathyroid. So remember this, that normal parathyroid is almost never seen. If you see a parathyroid, that means that some adenoma or some hyperplasia has happened. Okay, so just remember that general rule. What is this? What is this structure, kala kala, which is producing all of this shadowing here? Trachea. Very good. So in the center you have the trachea, which is, so now see, air is the enemy of ultrasound. जहाँ पे air था, do you see anything पीछे? Everything is gone, everything is a shadow, right? So that is why remember, air will never allow any ultrasound waves to pass through. Okay, and then when I ask you what is this part of the thyroid, which is just anterior to the trachea, connecting the right and the left lobe, this is isthmus, right? So this is the isthmus of the thyroid, which is located in the center. So everybody feeling comfortable with how a normal thyroid ultrasound should look? If I ask you to put the probe here on the thyroid, will you be able to do confidently thyroid ultrasound? Yes. So हमने fast सीख लिया, हमने thyroid ultrasound सीख लिया, ठीक है? Now let's see what will happen when I see, instead of the normal thyroid, I'm starting to see these nodules. So then when I start to see the nodule, now I have to characterize it. That is what my job is, right? To say whether it is likely to be a benign nodule or likely to be a malignant nodule. That is the job of a radiologist doing a thyroid ultrasound. That is the main aim. Yes. So how do I do that? I look at various features. I will look at a lot of cluster of features and I will then give the patient a score, which is TIRADS. Something we are all familiar with. We know BIRADS, we know PIRADS, we know so many RADS, CORADS. So similarly, we have derived that combine these set of features and then tell me in an objective manner whether you think it's a benign nodule or a malignant nodule. So again, TIRADS will go from 1 to 5, where 1 is benign, 5 is malignant. Okay, so what does TIRADS stand for? T is thyroid, I is imaging. IRADS remains the same everywhere, right? So thyroid imaging, reporting and data system. That is what is TIRADS. Okay, so now they will not ask you to calculate TIRADS obviously, but they will ask you features which suggest benignity, features which suggest malignancy, and these are repeat questions. All right, so now my question to you, what are all the features which suggest a benign nodule except? Very, very important two questions that I'm about to show you. So only 28% giving me the correct answer, only 1/4 of the people giving the correct answer. Okay, so this is something which is a highly potential question. All right, so now remember benign nodule के features, malignant. Before I go into the explanation of this, अब इसी का inverse बता दो. All of the following are suggestive of malignant except. Okay, ये बता दो and then I'll teach you. Again, only like 25, 1/4 only giving me the correct answer here as well. So I know for a fact that taller than wider and wider than taller causes a lot of confusion all the time, right? So let's sort it out today itself so that we don't get this wrong, because this invariably will be an option and we will be confused in the exam ki taller tha, wider tha, what was the fact which was malignant. Okay, so now let's understand the various features. Okay, so the first thing that we will basically assess is the composition. So this is your TIRADS, where we look at 5 points and we will determine based on this whether it's, yes, TIRADS, it's completely based on ultrasound. Okay, so this is one thing which is only on ultrasound you can give a TIRADS score. You can't give it on CT, you can't give it on MR. Okay, so that's a very good point, Wilson. ठीक है, so सबसे पहले है composition. So composition, we will see what are the features which favor it to be benign. What is it? So composition is mainly asking solid versus cystic. So when I ask you solid versus cystic, which do you think should be benign, solid or cystic? Very, very logical. Gut feeling. What will your gut feeling tell you? Gut feeling will tell me that cystic is likely to be good and solid is likely to be bad. So that is what we have also done. Solid hai to usko higher points de do means bad. Anything which is cystic or spongy form. Spongy form का मतलब क्या है? I will show you. So whenever you see this kind of a picture, do you see this? So many tiny, tiny clusters. Do you recognize a sponge? Whenever you have seen a sponge, उसके अंदर कितना पानी रहता है? So there are various pockets of water. Can you just put that imagination here? It's like a nodule which is having so many kala kala pockets of water. So this is what is called as a spongy form nodule. Benign or malignant? Benign, very, very benign. Can sponge ever be bichara malignant? No. This is pani ka gola. This is a typical nodule for a colloid nodule. This is how a colloid nodule will typically appear. Okay, so this is spongiform nodule. Now going on from there to the echogenicity. In the echogenicity, remember we have to see whether it's anechoic, hypoechoic or hyperechoic. So now when I ask you anechoic, what does anechoic term say? Have we already talked about that? What is anechoic? Anechoic means kala, that is cyst, right? So have we already established that if it is anechoic, it's a cyst? That is a very, very good feature. Nothing to worry about. Thyroid cyst, simple cyst. But when it starts to become hypoechoic, remember there is a difference between anechoic and hypoechoic. So if I ask you, if I point you at this nodule and ask you whether it's a cyst or it's a hypoechoic nodule, that will be the $1,000,000 question that you have to answer. Correct. This will be hypoechoic. So in your heart, ask yourself, is this black? Is this the blackest black that I have seen? If your answer is no, then it is hypoechoic. Okay, so this is not as black gets, right? So this is hypoechoic. This is a bad prognostic sign. On the other hand, what is this? Is this the blackest black that you can see? Yes. Okay, so this is like what you have to ask yourself. So this is what? This is anechoic. This is a cystic lesion. Should I reassure the patient that you don't have any malignancy? Yes. Okay, because this is a simple cyst that we are seeing, no chance of malignancy. On the other hand, this person, what should I counsel? I have to sit him down and tell him that most likely the report will turn out to be malignancy. Okay, so this is a bad thyroid nodule. Is this making sense? So far so good. So now when I go back to my first question and I ask you, all of these are signs of benign nodule, except does something stand out that we got previously confused with? Right. So now I see that this hypoechoic lag raha tha anechoic, hypoechoic, what is the difference? But that is the main difference, correct? So remember, hypoechoic, malignant, anechoic, good. All right, spongiform, we have already seen, good. Now coming to the wider, taller controversy. So remember, if I ask you from path, what is a bad criteria? Is capsular invasion good or bad for a nodule? Is capsular invasion good or bad? That is considered, no, not good. Obviously, it is considered bad, right? So one of the differentiating features between follicular adenoma and carcinoma, I'm sure all of you have heard this, right? Ki adenoma versus carcinoma can only be said on capsular invasion. So now if I have to ask you that this is one nodule which is starting out like this nodule has the aim that I want to become a bad malignant nodule. So in order to do the capsular invasion, where should it grow? Where should it grow? Should it become taller than wider or should it become wider than taller? Do you think it has to reach the capsule? Although you will argue कि ये तो यहाँ भी जा सकता है, but no, don't argue. Here it has to grow in this side, correct? It has to grow in this side basically to become a malignant nodule. So with this you can remember that a taller than wider nodule will be what? A taller than wider nodule will be your bad because it is approaching the capsule. It is approaching the capsular invasion. Okay? Isthmus पे भी होता है, क्यों नहीं होता? Alright, कहीं पे भी हो सकता है, सुनील. Alright, so remember You're taller than wider is bad. Okay, is this clear? On the other hand, wider than taller, or मतलब मैं जब प्रिपेयर कर रही थी, I did not understand this concept. I had just imagined in my mind that mota people are usually very innocent people and they're very good. So people who are wider than taller, no, they are good. On the other hand, tall, slender people are very chalak. They are very, very vicious. So that is bad. Okay, so you can just remember this if this is too much pressure. So just remember mota people, cute people, benign people. Okay, so that is what you can remember. Is this clear? Now you will not forget. So now if I go to the question and I ask you wider than taller, mota people, good or bad? This is good. Now I will not forget. Okay, ठीक है? All right. So this MCQ sorted. Now going forward. Now looking at the margin is something जो मुझे पहले से पता ही है. Everywhere it's the same. If it's a smooth margin, it's good. If it's irregular, if it's going outside thyroid, obviously it is bad. So this is not too much pressure on my brain. Then coming to echogenic foci. So here you have to remember if there are large comet tail artifacts. Do I recognize comet tail artifacts word from somewhere? In the GB, if I have these comet tail artifacts, ऐसा करके artifact, what is that called? Correct, that is called adenomyomatosis, right? That is adenomyomatosis. So that here also comet tail artifact in the thyroid indicates the presence of colloid. That indicates the presence of colloid. This colloid, no, will produce this comet tailing. So yes, there are three places in radiology actually where I use the term comet tailing. All right, so one you have already said, adenomyomatosis of the GB. Second one we have learned today, which is what? Which is a colloid goiter, which is a good sign. And the third one, if I ask you in the chest on a CT, if I do see a comet tailing, yes, I will have a nodule which is taking bronchovascular structures toward it. That is called a rounded atelectasis, and that is a feature of which occupational lung disease. Very good, guys. That is seen in asbestosis. Very, very nice. All right, so these are the three areas in radiology where I will see comet tail. Okay, yes, GB is gallbladder. All right, okay, so now going on from here, so this was comet tail, which was good. On the other hand, when I tell you that there are these tiny macro calcifications, intermediate, but when I see micro calcifications, does it put too much pressure in my brain? Do I already know from my breast knowledge that micro calcification is bad only? In breast also I was giving BIRATS 5, है ना? So this is also not too much pressure. I know that micro cal is always bad. Is this clear, everybody? So now when I go back to malignancy wala question, taller than wider, is this good or bad? Lambe log, vicious log, this is bad. Central vascularity, this is something we didn't talk about. We talked about microcal though. Is microcalcification good or bad? Microcalcification is again bad. Now talking about Doppler. So although not included in TIRADS, we again use Doppler a lot of times to characterize lesions. Okay, so for example, if this is the thyroid and I'm seeing a nodule and I put in a Doppler box, if I just see peripheral vascularity, that is suggestive of a benign nodule. But if I see central vascularity, that is suggestive of a malignant nodule. Okay, so remember this one more point here, that on Doppler ultrasound, the presence of a central vascularity is indicative of a malignant nodule, but just peripheral vascularity is suggestive of a benign nodule. Okay, one feature that you can remember. Anyway, center mein vascularity aa gaya means it is taking vessels, right? Anything which takes up too much vessels is a malignancy, neoangiogenesis. Okay, that is how you can understand it. Then coming to the presence of a halo. Halo is also not included in the TIRADS, but again it helps us distinguish. So if I have a nodule which is having a very thin homogeneous smooth halo, what do you think this indicates? This halo indicates the compressed normal thyroid tissue surrounding it. So what does it tell you? That it is being protected by something, right? It is being protected by certain lesions, and it is not invading into the thyroid gland. Correct. So basically your thin uniform halo indicates and tells you that there is a good prognosis, that it is a benign lesion. On the other hand, when you have a thick irregular halo, all right, either it is irregular or it is absent halo, that will tell you that this is bad. All right, this is bad. Is this making sense, everybody? One of you asked one more question, that calcification can be picked up on ultrasound. We can pick up micro calcification. Calcification also we can pick up, because just like bone, it will be very, very white and then it will cause this shadowing. Okay, so some Like, although not the investigation of choice, but yes, it can be picked up. Okay. Halo is seen on ultrasound only. All right. So on ultrasound only, we will see a halo. Let me see if any of the examples have. Okay. So is this clear? Everybody, so far so good. So this doesn't have any halo. If you notice this is the differential hypoechoic nodule. This white color is the surrounding gland, and I don't see any surrounding halo here. Okay. Is this clear? Everybody, so far so good. So the ultrasound features, everybody is feeling confident with it so far. So now, combining all of these features, we will give a score. No need to go into the scoring, but I will give a TIRADS. TIRADS 1, TIRADS 2. So if you notice here, when I'm very confident that it's a cystic lesion or it's a spongiform nodule, all right, the simple cyst I showed had a halo. uh, are you talking about this white color ka line that is seeing? No, no, that is not the halo. That is just some artifactual thing that you are seeing. Halo will not be white like you imagine a halo to be. It will be like a hypoechoic line. Okay, so this anyways is a cyst. We know that it is benign only. Okay, acha, going back. So when I know that it's a cyst or a spongiform nodule, and I am very certain that it's not a malignancy, no need of doing FNA. You just follow up the patient, follow up the thyroid nodule. On the other hand, when you start to have suspicions, then depending on how high your suspicion is, the threshold to FNA reduces. Does this statement make sense? कि अगर तो TIRADS 5 दे दिया, फिर तो even if it is 1 centimeter, no, you have to FNA. On the other hand, if it is TIRADS 4, then keep a lower threshold, make it 1.5 centimeters. If it is TIRAD 3, FNA if it is very large, if it is 2.5. So that is how your threshold changes. Obviously, they will not give you this question. So that is why this is almost never tested. This is done in practice, but they will not pick you up on this calculate TIRADS or batao kab FNA karoge. Okay, that is not what they will ask. So just basically remember that there are various thresholds depending on our suspicion. So agar exam mein pooch bhi liya, what I can recommend you to do is, rather than memorizing this, just see. The examiner will give you clues. If they are pointing towards a malignant nodule, if they are giving you features such as microcalcification, or what will they give you? Taller than wider or wider than taller? क्या देंगे अगर FNA करवाना चाहते हैं, अगर malignant बोलना चाहते हैं? Yes, taller people vicious, right? So tall nodule अगर दे रहे हैं, micro calcification दे रहे हैं, solid nodule दे रहे हैं, hypoechoic दे रहे हैं, all of these buzzwords that I am also telling you, you then keep a low threshold. You tell them कि 1 पे कर दो, all right? But if they are telling you कि नहीं नहीं wider मोटा सा nodule है with comet tail artifact, spongiform, then you have a higher threshold. Is this making sense, everybody? All right. So this is how you have to do the FNA. So now we have characterized, we have done thyroid ultrasound. What is this, first of all? No, no, Yusuf. So see, don't confuse this with radio iodine scan. Radio iodine का chapter हमने पहले ही close कर दिया. When did we close it? We saw thyrotoxic patient, we did radio iodine, है ना? तो सब में नहीं करना. If the patient is not thyrotoxic, if patient is euthyroid or hypothyroid, you don't do radio iodine only. So that chapter is only opened for thyrotoxic patients. Is this clear to each one of you? No doubts. Okay, I don't want you all doing radio iodine scan for euthyroid patient and then calling for ultrasound. ठीक है, बहुत radiation फैलाओगे अगर ऐसा करोगे तो. So no. All right, only for thyrotoxic patients. Right. Here, what is this? So this is a very, very white nodule. Do you agree? This is like a very white color hyperechoic nodule with these cystic spaces. So again, does this remind you of the spongiform nodule? Spongiform nodule जैसा लग रहा है. So this is also a typical example of a benign nodule. So this nodule is an example that gives you two features which go in good favor, which go in happy favor. One is the presence of these cystic spaces within, which indicates कि spongiform है. Second, it tells you when you have a uniformly white nodule, no, uniformly hyperechoic nodule, that is also a good sign. And इसको हमने एक नाम से भी बोला है. इसको हमने बोला है a white knight. Whenever you see a white knight on a horse coming towards you, you'll be happy, right? So that is how we will be happy towards a nodule also, which is very white, which is very hyperechoic. Okay, so again, both of these are benign nodules. ठीक है? Cool. So this was ultrasound. Now अब एक और एक्स्ट्रा चीज बताना है. आई वांट सम मोर टूल्स टू कैरेक्टराइज. डिड आई टेल यू वन टूल दैट वी विल पुट वन बॉक्स एंड आई विल नो वेदर सेंट्रल वास्कुलरिटी है, पेरिफेरल वास्कुलरिटी है? दैट वाज डॉपलर. इज दिस डॉपलर दैट आई एम शोइंग यू? इज दिस डॉपलर दैट आई एम शोइंग यू और समथिंग एल्स? हु कैन टेल मी व्हाट दिस इज? आई विल बी वेरी हैप्पी इफ यू कैन टेल मी. Yes, Akshay. Yes. Correct. uh, what is this? Nobody has told me the correct answer. This is not color Doppler. मैं बता ही रही हूँ ये Doppler नहीं है. It's something else. This is done for breast also. This is done for breast also. This is one additional tool, all right, where we get to know how hard or soft a mass is. How hard or soft. Very good, Vaishnavi. So this is an elastography. This is a recent advance of ultrasound which is called elastography. Yeah, yes, just like you have fibroscan for the liver, fibroscan is a crude form of elastography. Okay, so this tells us how hard or how soft a lesion is. So remember this, whenever you see itna sara color, if you put a Doppler, no, you will only see red or blue and you will see lines. Vessel koi itne vessel thodi hota hai pura. All right, so remember, when you see these lines, that is for Doppler. But when you see this complete filling and you see all the ranges of the color, that is elastography. And what is the main use? The main use of elastography is it will show you a range. So these red areas, no, they tell you that these are hard. So tell me in general, if I tell you to touch a nodule or touch a mass, if it is hard, will you be worried? Or if it is soft, you will be worried? If it is hard, you will be worried. So can I say that if I find that the elasticity here is high, it is a hard nodule, then that is the area that I should target with an FNSE. If I'm doing an FNSE, I should target this area. So remember, this is one thing where we characterize. If the nodule is diffusely hard, same funda, remember guys, we use it for breast also. Okay, breast may be characterized karne ke liye we will put elastography, and if I see a hard nodule, high elasticity, red color, then I know that this is likely to be a malignant feature. Okay, so although not in the guidelines, this is a recent update that we follow for everything. In fact, my thesis only was on this, all right, on elastography for endometrial masses. I had done this study for endometrial masses to characterize if we can distinguish polyp from carcinoma. I will tell you about it some other day, but it's a very, very recent this thing. In vogue, and basically you can definitely get an image based question in this. In INICT, like 100% you can get this. Okay, so this is elastography. Yes, it is combined with ultrasound. This is one adjunct to ultrasound. Like you have Doppler, same one button dabaoge, you will have elastography. Just like one button pe you have Doppler. Is this clear? Please don't forget this image. All right, for me, don't forget this image. This is elastography used to further characterize thyroid breast lesions. Okay, right. So now बहुत सारा रेडियो पढ़ लिया आज के लिए. Now let's go to non-radio things. So now what do we have to do? We have established that there's a nodule. We have established whether we need to do FNA or not. So now what are we doing? We are doing the FNAC. So 3 images for you. What is this image showing us? This image is basically, first let's start here. We are doing an FNAC using what? We are doing an ultrasound guided FNAC here. Is this making sense? So how do we do it? Basically, I will keep the probe here. All right, I will see the nodule and under direct visualization. So can you see how we do it? This is the thyroid that I'm seeing. If this is the nodule I want to target, I will put my needle under direct visualization and then I will do. Okay, so this basically is not, this FNA is being done for a diffusely heterogeneous thyroid. So this was like, don't go into this image, but this was being done for a Hashimoto procedure. Okay, so isme zyada mat jao, but we will target the nodule and I will put my needle under direct visualization. Do you see this? Now, what is the size of the needle that I use? Again, thyroid. Do we ever biopsy? पहले मुझे ये बात बता के थोड़ा सा शांत कर दो. Do we ever biopsy thyroid nodule? No, we will never biopsy. It's a very, very vascular organ. Patient will bleed out and you don't want to do that. Okay, so we never biopsy. One indication of biopsy was raised that day. What is that? वो भी बताई दो completion से के लिए. Only when I am sure that it is a Riedl's thyroiditis, right? Riedl versus anaplastic. When I'm seeing that it's a completely stony hard thyroid, right? Both of these conditions, do you agree, will have a stony hard thyroid? That will be the buzzword that your examiner will give you, that there is a stony hard thyroid. Can you biopsy? Then yes. Okay, but again, this is also quite controversial. Okay, so don't rely too much on this, but yes, remember this because some people have told you this. All right, so now coming back to our garden variety thyroid nodules. So we are gonna FNA. Siddhant, what was your question? Lymphoma? No, yes, lymphoma basically, again, the diagnosis will be started on FNA. Okay, we will establish it on FNA where you will see lymphoid cells. We won't really biopsy the thyroid for that. Okay. Right. So FNAC ke liye needle, what is the needle that I use? It is a more chota needle. So if I have to say it's a more chota needle, the gauge will increase or the gauge will reduce. If I have to ask you, the gauge will increase. It is inversely proportional. So remember, everywhere for FNA, I use somewhere around 81 to 21 gauge needle. Okay, if I have to FNA a lung nodule, if I want to FNA a liver mass, I will use somewhere around 81, 18 to 21. But if I have to FNA a thyroid nodule, I will use a smaller needle. So we will use somewhere around 25 to 26 gauge. All right, 23 also we can use. So if you want a broader range, remember 23 to 26 gauge is what we can use. Yes, radiologist and pathologist have to know everything. That is why you will find that your radiology and pathology teacher will teach you the best, because we have to study everything. So this is 23 to 26 gauge. All right, so this is your FNAC needle. Now, what is this that we are using? Anisha, for follicular CA versus adenoma also, it's not like if you use a larger needle, your answer will be there. That answer you will anyways not get on FNA, है ना? चाहे needle तुम कितना भी बड़ा कर दो. Alright, so for that hemithyroidectomy, उसके लिए हमारा needle का gauge is not helping us in any way. Okay, so the needle ka FNA ka gauge remains the same. Now we can sometimes use this for suction. For suction, we can sometimes use this. This helps us take a aspiration better. Do you see this? That if I put a syringe and then I connect the syringe with this holder, it will be better. So no, Shimon, never. So even for follicular, we will never biopsy. Guys, I already thought this is clear for everybody, but I'll get to it. Once we do the FNSC and I see follicular cells, no, the next step would be to do a hemithyroidectomy. Never ever say that do biopsy and determine whether it's adenoma or carcinoma, because biopsy also will not tell you. Okay, you need to prove what to say whether it's carcinoma. I will get to this in a more structured manner, but abhi clear hi kar deti hu. You need to see capsular invasion. That is what will tell you. Capsular invasion, and इसके बारे में भी बात करूंगी, vascular invasion. Okay, which vascular invasion? Invasion of the capsular vessels. Okay, here also ये नहीं कि साथ की vessel में चला गया means malignant. No, the capsular vessels need to be invaded. Okay, but this is your main criteria. Is this clear? Okay, so we will go into this in a more structured manner. अभी तो हम बेचारे needle को लगा रहे थे यार, कहाँ तुम follicular पे पहुंच गए. So here we have put the needle and I'm using this holder. So tell me the name. कोई ये तो बता ही नहीं रहा, पता नहीं कहाँ कहाँ चले गए. Yes, this is the Franzen needle holder. All right, this is the Franzen needle holder that we are using in order to connect and apply more pressure. Okay, so how do we do FNA? For example, my thyroid is this. I put the ultrasound. This is the needle. I will do like this. I will go inside the thyroid and then we do like this. We apply a lot of suction. We take out the cells and we will give it to the pathologist. So the pathologist will be on site. All right, that is what happens at AIIMS. They will be sitting in the same room and they will make one smear and then they will tell us what they see. Most of the times what happens? Most of the time they will tell you that I am only seeing RBCs, blood hi aaya hai, because thyroid is such a vascular organ that the moment you enter, your entire syringe will be filled with blood. Okay, so most of the times thyroid ka sample aapko bar bar lena padega. If ever you have seen an FNA or gotten an FNA done, you will have to take at least 3-4 times till the pathologist is happy that sample is adequate. Okay, so that is how it is done. Yes, immediately we can see. All right, so now we'll go to the FNA ka criteria, what the pathologist needs to see in order to say that, okay, I can give my report on that. One of you is asking about local anesthesia. Yes, we can give. I mean, the needle itself basically क्या होता है कि ये needle इतना छोटा है कि the needle you will use to give local will be बड़ा. So usually in thyroid we can do away with it. It is not very painful because यहीं अंदर ही जाना है. Obviously, मतलब I can't say because I haven't gotten it done, but patients usually tolerate it. इतना कोई रोता नहीं है thyroid FNA में. Okay, so this is your FNAC. Okay, so now we have taken out the sample. I have given it to the pathologist. What will pathologist do? Tell me. You have studied path. How can they fix the slide? So there are two methods, right? One, they can do an air drying. They can do an air dry, and second, they can put it in alcohol. Correct. They can put it in alcohol or ethanol. So now if they've air dried it, can somebody tell me the stain they will use? If you have done path nicely, if you have done an air dry, what stain will they do for the thyroid? Very good. They will do a Romanowski staining. They will do a Romanowski staining, more commonly a JIPMER staining, right? That is what they do. right? So this is what they will do, and they will air dry and they will see and tell you whether it's adequate or not. On the other hand, if they are dipping it in a fluid, if they are doing a ethanol fixation, then they will use a pap smear, then they will use a pap staining. Okay, so this is the kind of FNA stuff that you will learn in path for sure. But now let's see, let's go to the path part of things. And now this is the AIIMS ka sawal which blew everybody off, that ye kya puch liya. Okay, so this is what you need to tell me. So A, B, C and D, tell me which is the correct answer here. You want a poll? Okay, good. फटाफट से लगा दो सब लोग. So, how many clusters do I need to see in order to say whether this FNA is adequate? Because a lot of times, if you ever have seen in practice also, a lot of times thyroid FNA will go as inadequate sample. Okay, so this is what is basically your criteria for seeing what is adequate, what is not adequate. So now see here, basically what are we seeing? We are seeing that all of these are the follicular cells. Do you agree that these are all the follicular clusters that you are seeing? And can I just seeing, looking at this slide only, say that there are enough follicular clusters for me to be happy, right? So remember, basically the criteria that you need, if I have to show you one zoom schematic, what we are looking for is all of these tiny clusters. Each of these tiny cluster is actually made up of central colloid and peripheral follicular cells. Okay, so these are the follicles that I am looking for. And the criteria for adequacy, I need at least 6 groups. All right, like you can see here, so many groups are there. Basically, you need at least 6 groups of such cells which are made up of at least 10 cells. Okay, this is the criteria. This is what they asked you. So our question is now sorted. 6 groups with 10 cells each. Everybody clear? Now nobody is getting it wrong. 50% of you got it wrong. Okay, but there are 3 exceptions. What are the 3 exceptions in which I will say that fine, nahi chahiye mujhe itne cells if my diagnosis is being made on lesser than 6 groups? One, I am seeing inflammatory cells. If I see inflammatory, I know that ho sakta hai thyroid hai hi nahi, everything is inflammation. So if inflammatory cells are seen, you can do thyroiditis ka diagnosis. Second, if you are seeing thick colloid, you are seeing a lot of colloid material, and this is what happens in practice. Okay, that you are doing again and again FNA, you are seeing this oily. Have you ever seen aspirate of colloid? It will be like craniopharyngioma mein kya description hota hai? What is the description on gross specimen? Machinoid. Same is for colloid. If you ever do colloid ka goiter aspiration, no, you will see this orange color ka greasy kerosene looking machinoid. है ना? So वैसा ही दिखेगा. So now on gross, if radiologist is only telling कि यार colloid ही लग रहा है, then pathologist will not be like नहीं नहीं मुझे 6 cells देखना है तभी मैं बोलूंगी. Alright, so it is like if obvious colloid is being seen, then you can do away with this. Okay, so that is the second exception. Third is atypia or malignancy. A malignant cell ही दिख गया, but you are not seeing 6 groups, then again you will not argue that give me adequate, तब तक मैं patient का report ही नहीं दूंगी. So all of these are exceptions. Okay, is this clear? Very very important slide. All right, ठीक है, happy understanding so far? Okay, cool. So now we go into the path proper part of things, where we do the malignancies, we do the nodules, and then we go to diffuse diseases. ठीक है, बता दो one liners. Let's do what makes you happy. Most common thyroid malignancies, yes, papillary thyroid CA, right? This is so common, but it also has the best prognosis, है ना? This has the best prognosis. इसीलिए ये line लिखी है किसी एक textbook में that you don't die of papillary thyroid CA, you die with papillary thyroid CA, right? So this is a very common tumor with the best prognosis. Then when they ask you high risk with radiation, when radiation is a risk factor, what is the answer? Yes, same ही है, साथ ही रखा है. Alright, so all greens are papillary thyroid CA. Okay, then when I ask you which has the worst prognosis, what will your answer be? With yellow, correct, anaplastic CA, not medullary. Anaplastic has an even worse prognosis, bichare. All right, but it is the rarest. Again, it's the rarest tumor, so we don't really care so much. High risk with iodine deficiency and multinodular goiter, which type? Not medullary यार, medullary नहीं, medullary का एक ही याद रखो, MEN2. Okay, only MEN2. So here, what is the answer? Yes, follicular CA. And when I tell you Hashimoto thyroiditis, Hashimoto, only low dose is supposed to cause, not high dose. Matlab what? I forgot the name. किसका लो डोज पूछ रहे हो? रेडिएशन का. So here you have two answers, guys. Here you have two answers. One is lymphoma. Can some other malignancy also be increased with Hashimoto? Tell me this. Very, very important question. So here your answer will be your Hurdle cell type of follicular adenoma. Okay, pada hai ye, the Hurdle cell variant of follicular will also be increased. Okay, so these are the two things with Hashimoto. Okay, is this clear? uh, Iodine deficiency, multinodular goiter, if these are associated, Dr. Sunil, then you have a higher risk of developing follicular CA. Okay. Yes. So you have Hashimoto, may you see Hurdle cells, right? So that is why that risk is increased. Okay. Plus Hashimoto thyroiditis, lymphocytic infiltration. So lymphoma. Very logical. है ना? So one of you was worried about the radiation dose. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि low dose में मिलेगा, high dose में नहीं मिलेगा. Why should that be? That is nothing like that. That high dose radiation exposure will not lead to PAPCA. I'm not aware of any such fact. I mean, that doesn't make sense. Okay, so just check wherever you've read that. Okay, and you find the source, send me, then I will just verify. Okay, now coming to the mutations. Again, I have shown you the question. I mean, mutations. You tell me the answer. एक जो हमने discuss कर लिया है उससे शुरू करते हैं. Gina's mutation, something which was given the power that you be active, I will be shant. What was that? Yes, autonomous, right? Your toxic or autonomous adenoma, where we had seen that we are giving you the autonomy power, you be active. Okay, so this is our first mutation done, benign nodule. This is done on one side. Then when I tell you the easiest one, RET, what comes to mind with RET? MEN2 comes to mind, right? MEN2 comes to mind, MEN2A, MEN2B, both of them come to mind, both have RET mutations, right? So here I have to write which subtype? I have to write medullary CA. Then going here, when I have a gain of function of the RAS gene, and the more recent one, you have a translocation 2-3, very weird translocation 2-3 between PAX8 and PPARG. Correct. You will tell me that this is the follicular type. So all of these are questions. Okay. All of these you have to learn. So this is follicular. And here when you have a RET PTC translocation, mind you, it is not RET mutation. It is not a RET point mutation. It is a translocation with RET. That is what? So this is your papillary subtype. Now here I have one extra edge point from Robbins for you. Again, for you guys, I've read Robbins today. So here you have one extra edge point, that is your BRAF mutation. When you have BRAF with papillary, does that give you a good prognosis or a bad prognosis? That gives you a bad prognosis. All right, so this will give you a bad prognosis, and it will be more commonly extra thyroidal, and it also gives rise to one variant of papillary which is seen. Sabah cold spot will be seen in all thyroid cancers. Yes, so like we saw, if it is a cold nodule and you do an FNA, 16 to 20% will turn out to be malignant. Okay, so you will not, so basically it is not like malignancy kiya to aapko radioiodine karna hai, prove a cold spot. Okay, it's the other way around. Basically, to understand, your starting point is radioiodine, and then if you do an FNA, 16% will turn out to be malignant. Okay, is this clear? So all cancer is cold or not? How will we know? Matlab, how will you determine? Are you doing radioiodine for everybody? You are not doing radioiodine for everybody, right? So that question is null and void. Matlab, kyun janna hai aapko? Okay, all right. So coming here to the BRAF mutation, there is one variant that SN is the only one who's telling me correctly, called the tall cell variant of BRAF, tall cell variant of papillary, which has a poor prognosis, and it is associated with this V600E type of BRAF, and it is written in Robbins that this is sine qua non of this tall cell variant, means this will be 100% marker of this tall cell. All right, so this line, please remember that this mutation, this same mutation you see in so many other malignancies. क्या नाम याद आता है इसका? एक ड्रग भी तो बना है इसके अगेंस्ट. दिस इज द सेम विच इज यूज्ड इन मेलानोमा, कोलन, LCH. सो ये वाला बहुत सारे मैलिग्नेंसी में V600E आता है, which you guys obviously know better than me. Pilocytic astrocytoma also. So a long list of tumors where you see this, but this is one more variant of papillary where you will have this. Okay, ठीक है, आगे बढ़े. So from the mutation, so we have listed all the one-liners. Now we see images and we reach the diagnosis. So this is that whole table I have just listed for your reference from Robbins, which is enlisting all the mutations, but if you just do this slide, take a screenshot, तो ये चल जाएगा. ओके, ठीक है, चलो तो ये हाँ हो जाएगा शिल्पी, क्यों नहीं होगा, मतलब अच्छा ही जाएगा, इतना पढ़ रहे हो तो. Okay, so now we go to the follicular story of things. All right, so we did our FNSE and I am seeing these follicular cells which are proliferating. So see this very, very beautiful diagram. So now I have resected. I have done hemithyroidectomy because I cannot say on FNA whether the follicular, this thing is adenoma or carcinoma. So we have resected. I found this nodule. I did the histopath examination and I'm seeing all of these clusters. Do you see this just like this? Where what am I having? I am having that there is normal thyroid tissue and then very, very well circumscribed capsule. Very, very important. Is Shimon still here? So you will see this capsule and you will see inside all of your follicular clusters. You will have colloid in the center and you will have the follicular cells. So you have your follicular clusters which is all bounded by a capsule. So that is how I know that it is an adenoma. On the other hand, if I change the internal contents, it is still a capsule, but I change the internal contents to become very, very eosinophilic. It is a very granular, eosinophilic, larger cells. So what are these cells which are larger, more eosinophilic? Correct. These are your Hurdle cells. So this is your variant of follicular adenoma, which is your Hurdle cell. So remember, more pinky hexagonal cells. On the other hand, here you have very, very round, very square cuboidal cells. Is this making sense? These are very, very pretty, useful schematics. Okay, so do look at them. So this is your Hurdle cell adenoma and your follicular adenoma. Now going on to the main thing. How do I determine? So see this. सो कैप्सूल दिख रहा है ना, यहाँ पे कैप्सूल दिख रहा है, यहाँ पे कैप्सूल दिख रहा है, ये तो बहुत जूम्ड इन इमेज है ना. यू विल सी कैप्सूल इन अ लो पावर. इतना तो मैं भी रेडियोलॉजिस्ट करके भी बता रही हूँ दैट यू विल सी इट ऑन लो पावर टू सी द कैप्सूल, राइट. दिस इज अ वेरी हाई पावर व्यू. ऑलराइट, सच टेक्निकल नेम्स आई एम यूजिंग. व्हाट इज दिस हियर? What is this here where the capsule is now breached? So what will the diagnosis be? The diagnosis will be a follicular carcinoma, right? So the moment you have capsular breach, that is the main criteria for distinguishing our follicular adenoma from follicular carcinoma. Okay, everybody, so far so good, right? Apart from that, vascular invasion is also one criteria, but not any era-gera vessel. Okay, I need capsular vessels in order to determine, but the main one is this. Okay, cool. Right. So now going on to the images. So we have done follicular ka imaging. Now what am I showing you here? So what is this? This is a very, very large vascular thyroid tumor that I am seeing. And what is it producing? It is producing a very, very vascular skull metastasis. Correct. So your follicular CA, what is it predisposed to? It predisposes to hematogenous mets. Correct. Hematogenous mets to liver, to bone, everywhere it can have. And these meds, because they are so vascular, clinically they can also tell you that they are pulsatile. Tell me a few more malignancies which can produce this, which is so vascular. One renal tumor, correct. So clear cell RCC, so vascular. One gynae tumor, which is very, very vascular. Choriocarcinoma. Okay, so these are a few examples. Predominantly, always remember, clear cell and follicular thyroid. Both of these are extremely vascular. They will produce a lot of distant metastasis. Okay? Shall I go ahead? So these are your Hurdle cells basically. Again, one pretty image to show you Hurdle cells where you will have abundant eosinophilic cytoplasm, round nuclei and a single nucleolus. So this is how you can identify a Hurdle cell. Okay, these are the kind of images which I can understand. Okay, that is why. Last one, CCA full form, common carotid artery. Is that what you are saying? Acha, choriocarcinoma. Sorry. Choriocarcinoma. Okay, all right. Okay. Okay. Going ahead to the next one. मतलब ऐसे ही पूछ रहे हो, बताओ full form. So this is papillary thyroid carcinoma. All right, papillary thyroid, what will you have? So now the follicular cells will turn into various features. The one word that comes to all of our mind, orphan Annie, right? So orphan Annie nucleus, along with that you will have these nuclear inclusions that you will have. So clear nuclei, pseudo inclusions or irregular membrane. So this is how our papillary thyroid will appear on histopath. So this is your cartoon orphan Annie where you have empty looking nucleus. So again, 4 images from Robbins only. In the gross specimen, you will have these papillae, right? Papillary. So papilla milenge. Again, low power, I will see these papillae. Do you see? है ना, मतलब मुझे भी समझ आ रहा है. These are the various papillae that you will see here in the papillary subtype. Then when I do a high power image, then I will begin to see the empty looking nucleus, which gives rise to the name orphan Annie, because इस cartoon में उसकी आंखें खाली है. And then when I see furthermore, I will see the pseudo inclusions, nuclear pseudo inclusions. All right, so that is what we will see. These are the various features that will be noted here. Now one question, so Sabha, follicular ho gaya na, so to distinguish you have to see capsular invasion. We can't distinguish on FNA, we already discussed this, right? So because I cannot distinguish it on FNA, always you have to do a surgery. The minimum you have to do is a hemithyroidectomy, and then on that specimen you will see, is this intact or is this invaded? And depending on that, if it is invaded, you go ahead with total thyroidectomy, otherwise you can stop. Okay, did I answer your question? So this is your features of papillary thyroid CA histopath features. So just to document everything, papilla will be seen. Orphan Annie nucleus. One question for you, will I see orphan Annie on FNA? Yes, you can do frozen section. So frozen section पे ही decide करते हैं ना यूसुफ. So that when I say that histopath पे decide करेंगे, it's not like they will close और फिर से खोलेंगे 10 दिन बाद कि चलो complete thyroid करके आते हैं. That decision will be made on a frozen section. Okay. So remember, this is only seen on what? This is only seen on biopsy. Very important path ka sawal. Okay. So this is something, the orphan Annie, the empty thing is because of the processing of the formalin that it gives you this appearance. So on FNA, remember, you will not look for orphan Annie. All right. Apart from that, you know, all papillary है ना यहाँ पे, all papillary thyroids show samoma bodies है ना, वो तो हर जगह का ही है, whether it's your ovarian tumor or your renal tumor or your thyroid tumor, everywhere you have samoma bodies. Which brain tumor will have samoma bodies? Female में pregnancy में बढ़ जाएगा meningioma. Which lung tumor will have samoma bodies? Frozen hemithorax is the buzzword that I give you. Frozen hemithorax. Mesothelioma. Okay, right, cool. Coming back, nuclear inclusions will be seen. Coffee bean grooving will be seen. बाकी सब मिलेगा अक्षय, बाकी सब कुछ तो मिलेगा ही हर चीज में. ऑलराइट, अगेन सैमोमा बॉडीज तो काफी बड़े होते हैं, दे विल बी सीन ऑन एफएनए आल्सो आई थिंक, बट बाकी चीजें में ऐसा कुछ स्पेसिफिकेशन नहीं था. ऑलराइट, ओके, गोइंग अहेड टू द नेक्स्ट वन. हाउ विल रेडियोलॉजी अपीयर फॉर पैपिलरी थायराइड सीए? सो ओनली वन फीचर आई वांट टू टेल यू will be the presence of microcalcifications. All right, so microcalcifications is the pathognomic feature of PAP-CA thyroid. On the other hand, one very important feature, so अगर मैं आप लोगों को ये दिखाती हूँ, is this the blackest possible black that we have seen? How will I describe this? Is this cystic? Yeah, तो आप इस पेशेंट को बोलोगे आप घर जाओ, you don't have anything, you have a cyst in the thyroid, will I send the patient, or you want to just take a moment back and see something else also in this, that along with the cystic lesion, it also has a mural nodule, it also has a lesion inside it. Do you all agree? So remember, now complicating to our knowledge, adding on to our knowledge that cyst is fine, cyst is benign, but then PAP-CA produces cystic metastasis. It produces cystic lymph nodal metastasis. So this is something that you need to know. All right, so how do I distinguish whether it's a cyst or a cystic metastasis? You have to look for a solid component within. Without that, you can't distinguish. Okay, so when there is a cyst with a solid component inside it, you have to strongly suspect a PAP-CA thyroid. Okay, everybody understanding? So this is the radiological feature. Path के feature तो सदियों से पढ़ ही रहे हैं, orphan Annie, nuclear grooving, coffee bean. Now remember radiological features. All right, microcal, cystic metastasis. Okay. One variant of papillary CA which has a very good prognosis. So if they give you an image like this and the measurement they are saying it's 9 mm, what will be the answer? Yes, cyst in the lymph nodal metastasis. So lymph nodal metastasis typically Ayushi will be cystic here. Okay. And you will also see calcification. If you notice very carefully, no, you can also see tiny white spots. Can you all notice these tiny white spots? These are the microcal. Okay. हाँ, तो ये है माइक्रो कार्सिनोमा. यस, दिस इज माइक्रो कार्सिनोमा. अच्छा ये बताओ, पिट्यूटरी में वी हैव माइक्रो एडेनोमा, वी हैव मैक्रो एडेनोमा. हाउ डू आई डिटरमाइन दैट कट ऑफ? व्हाट वाज दैट साइज दैट tells me it's micro adenoma or my macro adenoma? 10 mm. Do you think I should not complicate my life and keep the same number here also? Yes, that is what I also thought. So that is why it's the same number here also. So when you have a micro less than 10 mm ka tumor, that is a very very good prognosis. Na chotu sa tumor hai, you should be happy, right? So this is your micro carcinoma. Okay, bas itna sahi definition. 10 mm. Coming to the post of management, so both your follicular and your papillary CA, right? Can I say in the well differentiated CA? So what will be your management? All right, so just remember this slide where I have to keep them on follow up for recurrence. But before I do keep them on follow up, I just want to make sure that any thyroidal tissue which is left behind, it's ablated, right? First of all, my question to you, I have resected this tumor out. I am sure that it is well differentiated CA. So now, how do I keep them on follow up? कि इनको वापस malignancy तो नहीं आ रहा? Will I keep doing ultrasound for this patient? No. We have to follow up with thyroglobulin, right? I want to follow up with thyroglobulin. But then, what if cancer is not left behind? Some normal thyroid tissue got left behind. So I have to first make sure I get rid of that completely. Do you agree? Before I start the follow up with thyroglobulin. So how to do that? So post-op, basically, the patient is kept on this high-dose thyroxine for 6 weeks. Yes, where we will suppress the thyroid, and then after that, we will do a whole body iodine scan. Okay, after withholding this for some weeks, basically, once the thyroid is suppressed, what I will do is I will do a whole body iodine scan. And what does iodine 131 do? This I already know. It has beta rays, it has gamma rays, so it will ablate anything and everything which is thyroid, है ना? So वो जो भी बचा हुआ thyroid tissue था, it will kill it. And then do you agree that now I can start following the patient with thyroglobulin? Any normal thyroid which is left behind, that has been ablated. Okay, so this is the post-op management, जिसमें से एक बार तो सवाल आया है on post-op of आयोडीन 132 का तो कोई यूज नहीं होता. नो यूज ऑफ आयोडीन 132. हैव यू रेड इट समवेयर? अक्षय, आई हैव नॉट रेड इट एनीवेयर, टू बी ऑनेस्ट. Okay, so this is your post-op follow-up. So ZH, basically in the post-op management, I want to follow up these patients for recurrence using thyroglobulin, right? So in order to do that, in order to start this follow-up, I first need to ablate any normal thyroid tissue which might have been left behind before I can start following them up. So we do that with this high-dose thyroxine for 6 weeks. We will suppress all the thyroid which is there, and then we will ablate everything using beta plus gamma rays of iodine 131, so that any thyroid tissue left behind is killed. Okay, this is the post-op management. Now there are these scorings which are there, ages and AIIMS scoring, जिसपे से भी सवाल आते हैं, what all they ask us. And so remember, here it is very easy, everything is same except one extra thing. Okay, so what are the 5 things? ages और AIIMS मिला ले, जिसमें से AES तो सेम ही है. So age, extrathyroidal extension, size, these are common features. AIIMS में क्या जाएगा? Whether metastasis is there or not. G में क्या जाएगा? Grade is there or not. So these are the prognostic scoring markers. एक और score था, which was what? Which was the MACES score. So MACES is nothing but AIIMS only, but you add one C, which is completeness of surgery. Did it make sense? What did I say? So these are the 4 post-op, basically these are the 4 prognostic scoring scales which will determine whether it's a good tumor or a post-tumor. So I just told you an easy way to remember. Basically, ages and AIIMS is the same, all right, where G and M will be different, and MACES is same as AIIMS, except that C stands for completeness of surgery. Okay, fine. Yes, Akshay, thyroxine will anyways be given for support, right? It will not be high dose thyroxine, that is to supplement the body, but that is different. Here we are trying to do what? By giving high dose thyroxine, that is not our aim, to give that normal thyroxine that you're talking about. That thyroxine, anyways, patient will be started on after this point. Hai na? What is WD? Where is WD now? कोई तो WD, अच्छा, well differentiated carcinoma, right? So you're well differentiated carcinoma. ठीक है, चलेगा? All right. So now tell me what I'm showing you here. Yes, this I am showing you that there is this amyloid stroma here. There is this amyloid stroma. So the moment I see this hazy amyloid stroma, no, then my diagnosis is very, very clear that I'm talking about MTC. And what am I showing you on this electron microscopy image? Yes, there are these granules. There are these neurosecretory granules which are there in the uh, medullary thyroid. See, these granules can produce what all things? Rakesh, I'm not sure, yaar, how many people can share. Just try start sharing and then see कि कहाँ पे रुक जाता है उतने लोग कर लो share. So this is medullary thyroid CA. Okay, so what all will be there in the neurosecretory granules? Yes, you can have calcitonin, very important. But will the calcium levels be low here because of calcitonin? और कैल्शियम लेवल्स विल बी नॉर्मल. सो रिमेंबर ये कैल्सिटोनिन ना कुछ काम का नहीं है, बस कैल्सिटोनिन है. सो इट विल नॉट अफेक्ट द कैल्शियम लेवल्स. What else? What other things will I have? I can have serotonin. What will that result in? Patient can also present to you with diarrhea, right? Patient comes to you with diarrhea and you tell him, you have a thyroid tumor. So that is the kind of world we live in. And what is the third thing that can happen? The third thing that can happen is ACTH, all right, where you can have Cushing's also. Okay, so all of these things patient can come to you with in a case of medullary thyroid. And then the moment you see this, yes, serotonin can have serotonin syndrome also. The moment you see this, what is your job as a doctor, as a pada hua insan? What will you always rule out? Especially a young person is coming to you. Yes, you will rule out your men syndrome. On ultrasound, ये तो भूल ही गए. On ultrasound, what will I see? So this is one tumor where I see कोर्स कैल्सिफिकेशन. वेरी गुड मेटाफिजिक्स. हेल्प. हाँ, नहीं होगा हाइपोकैल्सीमिया. आपका तो नाम भी नहीं है कुछ. हाइपोकैल्सीमिया नहीं होगा. ओके, सो हियर यू विल हैव अ नोड्यूल with coarse calcification in your medullary thyroid C. Okay, so remember this. There will be a nodule with white chunky calcification. So if I want to see coarse calcification better, guys, what should I do? What investigation will show me coarse calcification much better? Good. I can do a CT, right? I can do a CT. So, did I do a CT? No, I did not include a CT. So we can do a CT and we can make sure that this is indeed chunky calcification. Okay, so remember that. Anyways, that is not very important. So for thyroid, radiology is not very, very important. You will get all path and surgery question only mainly, but still, whatever you need to know at a residency level also, I have told you. Okay, so this is MTC. So we will have raised calcitonin, CA will also be raised, serotonin will be raised, but calcium will be normal. Is there any role of radioiodine? Is there any role of radioiodine? No role. इसमें तो कुछ thyroid follicles की तो we have not talked about only, right? So there is no role of radioiodine here. Okay, very, very important. So now tell me 3 images for you. Okay, see this. One thyroid nodule. Can you see these white chunky calcifications? Yes, this is better. So this is the kind of coarse calcification we will see. This is MTC. ये देख के जरूर शक होगा कि this is medullary thyroid, because papillary CA was showing me which kind of calcifications? Pap CA was showing me calcification, but that was what? Correct. That was micro calcification, right? Those were tiny foci. And what was the other feature which initially made me think that अरे ये तो benign है, ये तो cyst है? I will see cystic metastasis, right? So I will see cystic lymph nodal metastasis, है ना? Okay, so now tell me, what am I showing you in this image? First of all, identify the modality for me. Correct. Contrast enhanced CT. So I tell you that this is the kidney here, but this is not the kidney. This is a suprarenal nodule. So what is a suprarenal? Very, very vascular, enhancing mass, heterogeneous, associated with MTC, FIO. And what am I showing you here? The moment I show you a hand X-ray in this context, your mind will straight away look where? Your mind will straight away look at this subperiosteal resorption, which is the pathognomic feature. Which is the pathognomic feature of what? Hyperparathyroidism, right? Hyperparathyroidism. Okay, so this is basically how to recognize a metastatic FIO. I'm not saying this is a metastatic FIO, but if you want to see, if you want to stage a pheochromocytoma, the best test would be an MIBG. MIBG would be the best test to look for metastasis. Okay, so combination of these three guys: MTC, FIO, hyperparathyroidism. Men, 2, A or B? A or B? meant to A. Correct. Meant to A. On the other hand, when I show you this, same. Medullary thyroid. Same on a different plane. Suprarenal mass. Pheo. And what is this? These are mucosal neuromas. One of you is constantly saying light bulb. Light bulb will be seen on MR. Remember, pheochromocytoma ka light bulb will be seen on MRI T2 weighted image. Okay, so that is not what I'm showing you here. Okay, this is not light bulb sign to be precise, but this is hyper intense because it is hypervascular. Okay, so these are mucosal neuromas. So this is meant to be. All right, this class is till 5:30 for 10 more minutes. Okay, bas 10 minute और रुक जाओ, हो गया. So meant to be, you have the 4 M's. So you will have what are the 4 M's? Marfanoid features, mucosal neuroma, medulated corneal fibers and megacolon. ठीक है, ये 4 M's होते हैं which are associated with meant to be, जिसमें से mucosal neuromas is what is tested most frequently. All right, going ahead from there, so because there is such a high risk, yes, same as men 3, meant to be is men 3 also. So if I tell you yeah, that we have to do a prophylactic thyroidectomy for men too because they have such a high risk of getting this, at what years do we want to do this? Very good, Nurel. Very good, Tamanna. Both of them have given me the correct answer. 5 and 1. So meant to A, you do it before 5 years. Meant to be, again, much more higher risk. So 1 year mein nikal do. All right, so 5 and 1. Remember, 5, 1. Okay, so this is what you have to do, prophylactic thyroidectomy. All right, fair enough. Lot of questions getting answered. I hope so. Let's go ahead. So now going to diffuse diseases. If I ask you what is the most common cause of hypothyroidism, now that we don't have so much iodine deficiency left, right? Or if the examiner is kind enough and tells you in an iodine sufficient area, you will say Hashimoto. Who is saying Graves here? Hypothyroidism, Hashimoto thyroiditis, right? So this is your Hashimoto, most common cause of hypothyroidism. How will the gland look? So the gland will be very, very irregular. I will just show you the ultrasound image and see how closely it matches the radiological feature. You will see it is very, very heterogeneous. Everybody, think back in your mind and imagine that normal thyroid kitna mast tha, white color ka, homogeneous, and see this bichara thyroid. It is so dirty, it is so irregular. Okay, so this gross diffuse change in the architecture or the eco texture is what we will see. Anybody wants to see that smooth hyperechoic thyroid again to contrast this? Okay, तो मैं दिखाऊंगी. This is how our normal thyroid was, so beautiful, so white, all right, so homogeneous. And now see what has happened in Hashimoto. It has become very, very irregular, very, very heterogeneous, right? So that is what you will have in Hashimoto. Okay, in books it is still iodine. ठीक है Lakshmi, मतलब you have to nobody will ask you such questions anymore. Like, gone are the days they will ask you most common cause of hypothyroidism. Okay, but remember it is Hashimoto only. But if they do mention that in poor socioeconomic status, then you can write iodine deficiency. But again, like with so much Tata salt everywhere, who has iodine deficiency these days? Okay, so it is Hashimoto. Okay, ठीक है. Anyways, so this is your how anti PSM I am. So this is your Hashimoto thyroiditis, very, very irregular thyroid, and same appearance you will get here on the gross specimen. On the histopath slide, however, see these two things for me. ये देख के वो arrangement याद आ रहा है? There is central colloid and then there are peripheral follicles. So am I seeing the thyroid follicles? Will I guess that this is a thyroid ka image? Yes, I can. But along with that, what are all of these? Yes, these are all lymphocytes which have proliferated and they are forming these centers, right? So these are lymphoid follicles with germinal centers. ऐसा लग रहा है कि lymph node ही बना दिया है thyroid को, है ना? So this is your image for Hashimoto. Is this clear, everybody? So radiological image and pathological image simultaneously. And here, remember, will it be very vascular or will it not be vascular? If I put a color Doppler, remember, it will show very low flow. All right, very low Doppler. Everything is basically gone and degenerated and become very heterogeneous. Okay, so बता दो, ये already हमने करा हुआ है. What two things will increase in risk? One, because so many lymphocytes, so lymphoma. What is the other thing? Because they also have Hurdle cells, so Hurdle cell adenoma or carcinoma variant of follicular adenoma. ठीक है, fair enough. Okay, going ahead to subacute granulomatous or dequervins, all same things. So here they will give you a very very important history that one patient को पहले viral illness हुआ था and then started having pain. So this is your clincher. Okay, बस screenshot this slide, enough. Dequervins, end of story. Okay, and one more thing, अगर histopath लोगे तो क्या नाम में ही है, granulomatous, right? So what will you see? What will you see? You will see these granulomas. Again, can you appreciate on ultrasound? Again, it is so heterogeneous. Remember that cute, beautiful, smooth thyroid? That is all gone. It has now all become very, very heterogeneous, very, very dirty, very, very inflamed. Okay, so same appearance. So your ultrasound is not very, very reliable in distinguishing the type. So again, you have to rely on clinical findings. Okay, fair enough. Going to the next one. My favorite disease, 50-year-old male with a stony hard thyroid swelling. Two possibilities. Can I say two possibilities? You are all saying IgG4 because I am saying my favorite disease. But what do you have to rule out in this, guys? सीधा बोल दोगे Riedel है IgG4, जाओ जाओ घर जाओ. No, you have to rule out what? Yes, you have to rule out anaplastic CA, right? You want to rule out anaplastic carcinoma. Okay, but remember when you basically biopsy this and you see, what will you see? When you see that there is plasma cell infiltration, somebody please tell me that pathological triad of IgG4 related disease. One is lymphoplasmacytic infiltration. Tell me the hallmark. एक ही शब्द बता दो. I will be happy. Lymphoplasmacytic infiltration and the pathognomic feature of IgG4, storiform fibrosis, right? Storiform fibrosis, a basket weave kind of fibrosis will be the hallmark. And third feature, what will happen to the vessels? Good, obliterative phlebitis. Okay, obliterative phlebitis. Now throughout January you have heard me for close to 50 plus special class people have heard me for 50 hours, plus class people have heard me for 75 hours. So at the end of this month on 31st, if we don't know this triad, then I will give up and I will resign. Okay, so this is something that everybody is taking up with them. This is the pathological triad of IgG4 related disease. Okay, what is the criteria for diagnosing IgG4 related disease? I can do a serology where the IgG4 levels will be raised. They will be more than 135. Okay, this is the pathological triad that I am showing you. What will be the clinical feature? Clinical feature, 135 mg per dl. MG or NG, I think. Clinically, you will have multifocal swellings, right? Multifocal swellings. What is the most common organ to be involved in IgG4 related disease? It will be pancreas. Okay, so autoimmune pancreas. ठीक है? All right, so we drifted, but Riedel's thyroiditis is now included in IgG4 related disease. All right, it is not an independent Riedel ka thyroiditis. Riedel had taken all of that power with him. It is gone. Okay, same with Mikulic's disease. Mikulic's bhi bol ke gaya tha that whenever you have swelling, you name it after me. That is also IgG4. Ormond bhi bol ke gaya tha when you have retroperitoneal fibrosis, you keep it after my name. That is also gone. All of these idiopathic diseases are all under IgG4. Okay, fair enough. Shall I move ahead? So tell me this last diffuse pathology. A very beefy, meaty looking thyroid. When I see the histopath, we'll come to this. When I see the vascularity, see the vascularity, guys. Is this angry looking thyroid? Where did we see angry looking thyroid on radioiodine scan? Yes, so same angry. Radiology में ये हमेशा angry है. Whether I do a radioiodine scan, it'll be very angry. If I do a Doppler, it'll have so much vascularity. So correct. This is your Graves disease. And what do I see? As Anisha has perfectly told us, this colloid will be scooped out. It will be scalloped. So the scalloping of this colloid is the pathological finding. So all your Graves pictures in one place, all your thyroid pictures in one place. Please revise this PDF and that will be done. And one last thing, just tell me before I go and then come back again. A black thyroid, what will be the diagnosis? Which drug will lead to black thyroid? Minocycline. Good. Minocycline will lead to a black thyroid. Okay. बस let's stop here. This is something we had done yesterday. बता दो कोई अगर कल सुन रहा था तो. annotated PDF, Dr. Sunil, you will see it once the class is over. No, you will find it from my profile only. You go to that option, they will ask you to download. Yes, this is a baby who has an ectopic thyroid. I'm seeing here a white thyroid was supposed to be seen. It's not seen. It is here at the foramen cecum. So when it was supposed to come down, it never did. It stuck there only. So that is the thyroid. So this is an ectopic lingual thyroid, no Shilpi. This is not subhyoid. Subhyoid will be thyroglossal duct cyst. Okay, so this is your ectopic lingual thyroid. Why not A? Will A be cystic or will A be a thyroid like lesion? Will A be a hyperdense enhancing lesion? Remember, thyroglossal duct cyst will be a cyst at the end of the day. है ना? So if I have to show you a thyroglossal duct cyst, it will look like this. It will not be hyperechoic like thyroid. It will not be hyperdense on CT like thyroid. दोनों का origin तो same ही है अक्षय. Both of them are from thyroid remnant cells, but thyroglossal duct cyst is a cyst derived from thyroid remnant. ये तो thyroid ही remain कर गया. Okay, so this is your ectopic thyroid which is not coming down. Okay, so this is your ectopic thyroid. Without radiological investigation, Siddharth, you won't be able to say. Of course, then you will have all kinds of DDs. Then it can be brachial cleft, it can be ranula, all the DDs that I've shown you. But when I show you that there is a hyperdense thing here and there is nothing here where it should be, then you know for sure that it's an ectopic thyroid, right? ठीक है? Okay? खुश. So this is how a normal thyroid will appear. ये ट्रेकिया हो गया, ये white, ये कल मैं बोल रही थी into empty space. These white things are your thyroid glands, right? Okay. ठीक है? So this is thyroglossal duct cyst. This will move with your tongue. This is the whole marker that all of you know. And what is the surgery? नाम बता दो बस. cyst trunk operation. बस और कुछ ज़्यादा जानने की इसमें ज़रूरत नहीं है. So after this, I had एक और स्लाइड देख ही लेना. ये वन लाइनर्स आई हैव पुट 4 वन लाइनर क्वेश्चंस व्हिच कम टू यू. वुल्फ चेक ऑफ इतना ही बता दो. हाइपोथायरॉइडिज्म होगा, हाइपरथायरॉइडिज्म होगा. जो सही आंसर बोल रहे हो, हाउ हैव यू रिमेंबर्ड इट? If anybody has any mnemonic, please tell me. I couldn't for the best of me figure out any mnemonic here. Okay, check off is off. Cool. ठीक है. So जो भी मेरे जैसे लोग थे, off मतलब hypothyroidism. Okay, cool. And Jod Besdo is the opposite. Then here you will have iodine induced hyperthyroid. What is Pendred syndrome? You will have hypothyroidism plus SNHL, right? Chromosome, anybody can tell me here? Chromosome. Wow, Shayantan has told me like exact gene also. SLC26. Chromosome 7. Very nice, guys. Very nice. All right. And what is Rafitoff syndrome? This anybody knows? Very good. This is end organ ZH. Very nice. This is an end organ resistance to the thyroid hormone. All right. So when you have end organ resistance resulting in hypothyroidism, that is called as Rafitoff. So you can take one screenshot and get it done with. Okay. So this is it. After this, I had some surgical वो टेक्निक था बट उसका टाइम नहीं बचा. विल डू इट इन सम अदर क्लास, डोंट वरी. विल डू कवर इट नेक्स्ट मंथ. ओके गाइस, सो आई विल सी यू ऑल. क्या करें? I will see you all at 6 p.m. for the next class, which will be a quiz. Okay, so bye. That will be a buzzword and MCQ class. Okay. और कुछ कोई बोलना चाहता है? Done ना? Okay. That will be a mixed bag MCQ class from whatever we have studied. Okay. All right. Bye.